I feel like I have almost forgotten what land looks like this far into our mission. We are a few dozen men in a tin can, and instead of vinegar and other spices, we are marinated in the smell of diesel and oil, with just a pinch of sea salt in the most literal sense. A month ago, when I was called up on deck by my former captain, I had never seen such a look on his face before. We are at war, he said, no expression. Our fleet of less than few dozen U-boats are up against the largest and most powerful navy on the face of the earth. This was in stark contrast to the attitude compared to what us Germans always heard on the radio and in the papers, that the Royal Navy, despite its size, was nothing but rot, and with a swift kick the whole thing will all come crashing down. He looked at the expression on my face and gave me a grin. I envy your ignorance. God, do I ever, he said, with an upbeat tone seemingly in contradiction to the words coming out of his mouth. Don't believe everything you hear, boy, he said with a nod, then motioned me back into the sub. Here I am, just a week later, commanding my own sub, already with a few kills to myself and my crew. But the thing I can't understand is why, when I walk around talking to my crew, every now and then I ask them what they think this war is all about. Of course, I word it in a way that makes the question sound the utmost patriotic. As captain, it is my duty to keep morale up, and going around asking people if they think they should be at war directly probably wouldn't help in that regard. But they all gave different reasons, ranging from revenge for Versailles to protecting the fatherland to those who don't think of that sort of question, but merely embrace the opportunity for glory. I'm not sure what glory is to be had from sinking defenseless merchant ships, but I do know that the more we sink, the easier it will be for the men on the front, in the air, and above the water. Might even save a few of their lives. A bullet that was destined to give them the killing blow now lays at the bottom of the sea. Of course, there is always another bullet. There is always another barrel of oil. There is always another soldier, and there is always another ship. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Commander's, not sure, I guess the bridge, sort of my U-boat in Silent Hunter 5. I started playing this game earlier today, and I've sunk one ship so far, but I thought I'd start recording because I wanted to make a series of this one, but I also wanted to play it a bit first to see if it was any good, and I think it is. It is buggy as hell and needs mods desperately. And what are you guys still doing?
Yes, sir.
Secure the deck gun.
Secure the deck gun!
Thank you. That's really loud when your mic's as high as... it's really loud when the headphones are as loud as they are. I always like playing games with the headphones really loud so it actually sounds like real life, like I'm on the ocean. I'm the king of the world. Yeah, I'm sorry I had to. A reference that no one will understand for another, 50 years. So for those of you who don't know, this game is basically a U-boat simulator. I am on a German I am on a German U-boat in the Second World War. The war just broke out recently. I believe it is September of 1939. And we are currently in the eastern coastal waters of Britain, trying to sink, make a wild guess, merchant ships. We're currently on our first mission. I've managed to sink one ship so far. And by the way, this map is actually real. It's actually as big as the world is, which is pretty cool. There is accelerated time, otherwise just to get from the port I started in, which I believe was here in Kiel, to the coast of Britain would probably take like a week, probably more than a week in a U-boat. I was thinking it would be really one day, if I could construct for the channel, I could construct like a little mini submarine and then put my computer in and maybe find a friend, not that I have any, and actually play this game real time, and we'd have to stay in that enclosure like we're on a real sub for maybe like a week. Start off somewhere closer, like maybe once France is in German hands. In the German hands, we could start at Dunkirk or something, and then actually have to sail to our missions in real time, because it would take a really long time. And a patrol like I'm doing right now, this whole zigzag pattern of patrol, probably around like hours upon hours. We're probably like, I don't know, 6 hours worth of patrolling. This is maybe even more. So I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe one day when I'm a huge YouTuber and have millions of dollars. Anyways, let me give you a bit of a tour of our U-boat. We'll start with the main deck. We have our flak gun. This is the gun that we use for anti-air. If we go towards the back, we have our one rear torpedo tube, which only has one shot. It doesn't have any reserve torpedoes back there. If we go up front, we have our deck gun, which looks to be something like like an 80 millimeter, something around there, 70, 80 millimeter. And we have this thing at the front, which is sort of a razor blade, serrated blade for cutting subnets, and I believe also used to cut the things that hoist mines to the seafloor at a certain depth. This is our attack periscope, and up here is our observer's periscope right up there. I can do this and make it erect itself, which is always fun. Now we move down, we have the captain's sort of commanding room, attack room, with our attack periscope and cup of coffee and lamp and all sorts of fun gauges, which I'll go over down here. And then here we have the main, I suppose this is the CIC, the command and control room. And here we have my engineer, my XO, my navigator. Just take a quick look at the gauges. We've got, this is our depth gauge. When it goes into the red, that's not good. And I believe I'm making it after. I knew the descent gauge for sure. I'm making guesses here, so please tell me if I'm wrong, because I'd like to know what these gauges actually do. I believe this is depth attack angle, like sort of how on a plane you have the pitch. I believe that's what that is. This, no idea. Volts? Battery? Something to do with the batteries? I'm not sure. This, I'm not... Is that... No, it can't be RPM. It goes way too high for RPM. Don't know. Somebody, please tell me. Is this another depth gauge? Yeah, it is. Or pressure gauge, I suppose. Not sure what that is. Something. Speed. That's a compass with bearings and whatnot. The clock, unfortunately, isn't actually a clock. I think these gauges are just decoration. They don't actually do anything. Now there's some more up here that a lot of the same from down there. We've got our speed, those are pretty much all the same. These ones, I believe they actually do stuff, but I'm not sure what. I guess I could go in Google Translate and translate all these labels on them, but that would take time and effort. Alright, so moving to the front of the about, we've got my bed. Nice little cozy place. We have our radio operator.
Jawohl, Herr Kalon.
Jawohl, nothing to say. Keep doing a good job. And then we have our sort of hydrophone at this point. We only have a hydrophone. I was going to say sonar, but we don't have that hydrophone. And I really like this detail because you can actually, throw this around and look for ships and look at a corresponding bearing and know where you're coming from. I like that. It's a really nice detail. And I was looking at, while playing earlier, I was watching a documentary on U-boats, and they had some footage from inside, and it's amazing how accurate they've gotten it. It's like they must have actually, because I believe there's only one U-boat that's still around these days. They must have gone inside, maybe scanned it all, took detailed measurements. Anyways, this is our front torpedo room. We've got, I think we have more than 2 reserves, but they just don't show. And then we have 4 torpedo tubes in our 4 main front-facing tubes. Close the damn door. So that's the U-boat. It's very... I love just walking around in here. This is the kind of game I like. Something about me and being able to walk around in the side of large moving objects that really appeals to me. Now, on to the elephant in the room. This game may look really cool, and I'm actually quite enjoying it, but it is a mess. If you thought No Man's Sky was a developer's nightmare, or a gamer's nightmare of bugs and glitches and things not working, things not being finished, well, No Man's Sky has nothing on this game. Well, except for the fact that the gameplay in this game is actually pretty fun, while in No Man's Sky it really isn't. In this one, I can sort of tolerate the bugs and glitches, for now anyways. I'll see. There are a ton of mods that fix a lot of these problems, but I wanted to try the vanilla game first, just to see what it was like, and then I can compare it afterwards. I haven't run into too many problems yet. The only real thing is a few very minor graphical glitches, and it wouldn't set my realism settings properly. I wanted it to have no health bars, using fuel, CO2, but none of that stuck, and I'm not using any fuel, and health bars are coming up over merchant ships, which is sort of bugging me, and I've been trying to change that. I was watching another YouTube video, and the guy in it said that he went into the config file to change it, but I was trying to look on Google to find which config file it is, and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm not sure how to change it. The other thing people said to do was to do it while you were back at the sub pen, but I did that when I was at the sub pen, and it didn't do squat. Well, I suppose I'll go on my patrol in my delightful evening. What time is it? It is 2:30 a.m. So, I don't know, like 6 hours to daylight. I'll continue on my zigzag pattern and get back to you if anything happens. Alright, you joined back here a few minutes later. It looks like we have a merchant ship contact on our hydrophone. So, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the hydrophone thing. And first of all, cut engines so we can actually hear better.
Stop.
And then we can... What bearing was it? I think it was like bearing 340 or something. Let's check. There we go. There's the propellers. Seems like it's bearing about 443 or 442, I suppose. So we will change course to intercept. Hopefully it's going in a direction that we'll be able to catch up, because progress isn't very quick right now in these choppy waves. Hopefully the weather doesn't get much worse, because it's going to be hard to try and hit that thing with these kind of waves. Anyways,
Half speed ahead.
half speed. Looks like we've made contact, so I'm going to change course to intercept. Let's just grab this thing, and we'll head right for him. I think he's coming towards us too, which is always helpful. So maybe I'll just go to the left of him. Or, yes, his left. And then we should be in range to open fire with the deck gun. I'm not going to waste a torpedo on him because he doesn't have any escorts right now. Or at least none that I've seen so far. So I don't want to waste a torpedo on him. May as well just use the deck gun while I can, because later in the war it becomes pretty much impossible to use the deck gun when they start introducing convoying and escorts and all that jazz. So let's head up the deck and see if we can spot him. Oh, the wind waves sure are choppy out. Oh, there we are. And now we're underwater. Let's grab these. There we are. Let's lock onto him.
Target.
Now I believe he was around 3,000 meters away. I'm going to close a little bit more before I open fire. Maybe to 2,500 feet or yards or whatever Germans use. I guess they would use meters. Yes. Metric. The measure of stuff for civilized countries. Alright, before we start opening fire, I just want to determine what kind of freighter it is, although at this angle it's going to be really difficult to see. Let me try and get in a bit closer to the screen. Looks like we have two main masts. Okay, it seems to be, it might be this one. I think it might be the one I'm on right now, the auxiliary cruiser Penguin. It's hard to tell from this angle, but it does seem to have the right hull shape. It's got one funnel, has... Check some others, I'm not sure that's the right one. The masts don't look quite right. Although it does seem to have the correct superstructure. Definitely not that one. That one has a flat hull. Not that one, not that one. Could be that one. Alright, I believe I identified it. Where are you? Right over there. So let's head to the deck gun and first...
Jawohl, Herr Kalon.
Oh, man the deck gun.
Man the deck gun!
Yes, thank you again for destroying my ears. Let's go to the deck gun. Ladders are a bit finicky in this. Alrighty. Let's hurry up and man the... Okay, there they are. And we're underwater. I guess we'll be drowning in this activity. We've got a high explosive loaded. Alright, we're around... Let's check on the map. 600 meters. We're quite close. So let's bring this up. Let's just start at 1,000. This is going to be hard to get shots. Not sure if that hit. This is really bad weather for doing this. Really bad weather for doing this. Gotta wait till we have a shot. I'm sort of glad that my realism settings didn't keep. Otherwise, this wouldn't be stabilized. Oh, there we go. Hit. As you can see, the health bar is showing up like I don't want it to. This is going to be really difficult to do. After this one, I may try and get away from coastal waters and wait for the weather to settle down, because this is pretty nasty. getting there, though. I don't know if it's just me being wishful thinking, but water might be... No, it's not getting calmer. It's just me doing wishful thinking. There's no way a torpedo would work in this weather, that's for sure, so the deck gun is really my only option. It is. Oh, there's a big explosion. Now I can go a spectator view, but I don't think I'm going to use that on this playthrough. No spectator view. No, I've seen other people use it for, well, I mean, other than getting sort of cinematic shots, I'm not going to use it. Although I may want to get a cinematic shot of this shit. You know what? Scratch that. I am going to use it because I want to have cinematic shots. Like, of the ship exploding. I'm trying to get the bridge. It sounded like it hit. Couldn't visually confirm that, though. Oh, this is nasty. Alright, I think we pretty much have it sunk. One more shot for good measure. I'll try and hit the front. Ooh, it's a goner. Alright, let's get the hell off this gun and back inside. And then we're just gonna get the heck out of here. I tried to get that gun. Actually, I think I'm just gonna press this button so I don't have to listen to that guy scream in my ear. Did they do it? Oh, get it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. They got removed. Alright, let's get down here. Let's get out of this nasty weather. Change course to sunnier skies. Sounds like we have another target on our hands. Say, compared to last time, it is a day later in game. It's just 9 p.m. of the next day. Weather is still not brilliant, but can't let that stop us from doing our job, I suppose. So we've detected a vessel and we're going to intercept. Doesn't seem like it's too far away. Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead.
Okay, we got target 1,500 meters away, bearing something. Time to go off and man the deck gun. How are you gentlemen tonight? Is it a good night for sinking ships?
Man the deck gun!
Yes, I can do that too. Where is it, first of all? Here it is. Out this way. There she blows. Let us change course to intercept. We'll go just right ahead.
New waypoint. Course 333.
Thank you, sir. Let's get to the deck gun now. See if we can't get some fire on it as we get drowned by these immense waves again. Sure, I'm glad I have this gun stabilized because I'm a cheater. Got HE loaded. I believe it's 1,500. Why isn't... There we go. 1,500 meters away. Where are ya? It's down this way, directly ahead. Am I even going to be able to get shots on target? I think we're going to have to get really close before we can actually... Oh, there we go. Not sure if that hit or not. I can't tell. Let's decrease the range ever so slightly. I have to try and hit as I see the wave about to descend so I can have sight of it when it hits. Like right now. No. No. Now. Okay, you know what we're going to have to do? We're just going to have to get up right up close to point blank range. Oh, jeez, it's a task force. We've got multiple ships. What is that? As long as it's not a destroyer. Okay, we got to be really careful. If we run into any destroyers, we could be in a lot of trouble. Okay, what I'm going to do is... turn to there, and then we can turn to come right alongside.
New waypoint. Course 293.
Hopefully once we turn we'll be right alongside that thing, but I wonder if those are the only two ships. It seems like if it was a task force there'd be more than just two ships. Alright, I believe we are in range. Probably start to get some shots on now, but it would be great if we could get both those ships down. Would be really great. Yeah, we got a good shot now. Where we are definitely a lot closer than we were before, so 500 meters I think should be good. Perfect. Now we should turn before, I have it set to turn before we collide. I do hope these are the only two ships in the vicinity. Okay, let's slow
Minimum
right
speed
down
ahead.
to minimum. We're getting some good hits in there. Okay, I want to try and get the rear. Right over. Right over again. Decrease range. I'm at my minimum range. There we go. Now, I definitely want to keep an eye on. See if there's anything else. Do I have any other hydrophone contacts? Doesn't look like it. Where we go? Oh, right. I guess we turn. We're right up close. Right beside it, in fact. I hope we're not too close. I'd rather not collide with it. I don't think we will. We're zoomed in. Spending a lot of time snorkeling. Drats. Can't range any lower. I want to wait till it bobs up. And that should be good. There we go. I think I've got taken its engines out. Below the water line, that's what I need to do. Whoa, that was a biggie. Alright, how close are we? We are very close. That is how close we are. Alright. It's sunk.
Half speed ahead.
They're not going anywhere. Okay, let's look off this gun. We need to maneuver to get in front of the other one, who I believe has his lights on. Okay. Let's turn ourselves around, going up that way. Or how about... Yeah, we're well in front of it. Let's cut clean across. Come on.
New waypoint. Course 117.
Come up that way.
Minimum speed ahead.
Alright, unfortunately we've run out of HE shells, so what I've done is I've positioned myself right behind the boat so these armor-piercing shells will hopefully go through the entire length of the ship, causing more damage than they would if I were just shooting them into the side. And I do believe that my strategy is working. So, after I sink this one, I think it's, I don't know, either head back to a port and resupply, or I might call in supplies on the radio and then make a rendezvous. But this one should be done relatively soon. Okay, so I think I'm going to call that an episode. Since we've run out of our HE shells, we are going to head back to port and resupply at this port right here. Heligoland or something. Probably take us quite a while to get there though. Let's just, what's the estimates? We've got 700 kilometers, time unknown. So in other words, a really long time. So, in the next episode, we'll catch up once I get to port. Or maybe I run into trouble on the way and that ends up in an earlier video. We'll see. Until then, have a good one.